Hello everyone, my name is Daniel, aka B-Belt Dan. If you remember a few episodes ago, me and my youngest son Jack, we went ahead and made a Freddy Krueger glove. 3 of them to be exact, and one of those gloves is his that he plays with, and that is this cardboard one here. And he loved it so much that he was wanting to make additional accessories to go with them. But one of those accessories is a companion piece, or more of a actually an anti-companion piece. I don't know what the word of it is, but if you know Freddy Krueger, then you have to know the other popular slasher, and that is Jason Voorhees. So he's been wanting me to make a mask for him. But rather than try to make it from scratch, we had in our possession this cheap little plastic mask, hockey mask that we got from the store. It might have been about $2-3 at the most, and by itself, somebody wears this, especially with a machete, they're going to know that they're Jason. But he was wanting this to look a little bit more like the actual masks that you see from the movie. So we're going to go ahead and see what we can do about taking this and upgrading it, so to say, to make it look more like the movie. And you want it to look more like from which movie, Jack?
Friday the 13th Part 3 and 3D.
Friday the 13th Part 3. This is one of his figures that he has here. Yeah. So we're going to try to replicate this mask right here. All right, so to get this project started, I'm going to go ahead and let my youngest son, Jack, have the scissors. And he's going to do the first part to go ahead and snip off the old straps. All right, so man. Throw that strap out. Now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in, take place, and put in the additional holes. Okay, for this next part, I wanted to go ahead and do this because this is going to take a hot tool here. I have a soldering iron that I'm going to be using. And if y'all decide to do this, please, I would recommend doing this in a ventilated area because it's going to let off some fumes. I don't know if they are toxic, but it'd be the best thing to do. So I'm going to use this to go ahead and poke the holes. I went through with a marker to mark out the areas where I'm going to put the holes using my son's figure as reference, as well as a couple of images. And the reason why I'm using this than a drill is because I'm worried that a drill might crack the plastic. This plastic already cracked once before. But by using this, it'll burn the hole into it, but it'll also melt some of the plastic, so it'll kind of reinforce it just a little bit. Or at least that's the methodology that I'm thinking about. So it's up to heat, and so I'm just going to find the next hole and just slowly burn it in. And it's actually pretty good because I think this is almost just the perfect diameter that I need, or that I would want to try to mimic the holes that are also on it. Maybe just a little bit smaller, but then I can just, just kind of just widen them just a little bit. So I'm just going to continue to do this on all of the others. Yep, there it goes. On to the next part. Okay, now Jack is back inside the chair, and he has some 120 grit sandpaper that I just kind of found. I'm using some used stuff, and he's going to go through the whole thing and really kind of scratch it up. Why is it that we're wanting to scratch this up?
So the paint can stay permanent, even with waterproof. So it can be like waterproof.
Okay, well, because this plastic is so smooth that the paint will peel off. So this is going to give that paint something to actually kind of grip onto. So
yep, to stay permanent.
And you're wanting to do it to where instead of it looking kind of clear, yep, it's very scratched up and kind of almost opaque or to translucent, rather than translucent to transparent.
Yeah, because this mask we bought, it's supposed to be like a glow-in-the-dark hockey mask, but now I just don't like it because every time I put it on and look at the mirror, I can still see my face.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fix that with a coat of paint, but first, let's sand it down.
Yeah.
All right, so my son, Jack, thanks, Jack.
Hey, you're welcome.
All right, went ahead and sanded both the inside and the outside of the mask because we're going to go ahead and paint both sides. So I think it should go ahead and hold the paint on it very well. So we're going to go ahead and start off with some primer. Now the inside and the outside I'm going to do two different colors. The inside I'm going to go ahead and use some of this primer. It's the same type of primer that I used on Freddy Krueger's gloves to kind of get that rust look. And for the outside, I'm going to use this kind of white matte primer paint. It's supposed to bond to plastic very well. Ultra matte is actually what it's called, to go ahead and do the outside. And the reason about why I wanted it to be two different colors, because one, I think the mask itself is two different colors. A few times that you do see the inside of the mask, I don't think it's fully white. I think it's a little bit of a darker brown, but also plus that back matte darker color should actually kind of show up and hopefully, I'm hoping, kind of make the other side look a little bit darker as well. So let me go ahead and I'm going to take this outside because I don't have a painting booth yet. So I'm going to take this outside and go ahead and paint them, and I'll be right back. Okay, I just want to say that I really kind of like the look that this is giving off through this translucent plastic just by painting this one side. But that's not the look we're going after, is it, Jack?
Nope,
so
definitely not.
Let's go ahead and I'm going to put several coats of primer on this side, and we're going to sand it in between to try to get it to where it looks somewhat smooth. Let's see how it looks when I do that. So let's take care of that real quick. First coat. Second pass. Now, as you can see, each time I'm doing this, fewer and fewer spots are actually being rubbed off. So we're laying on thicker coats to where it's getting a little smoother, but also we're verifying that we are indeed getting every square inch of this sanded to the point to where paint will stick to it. So let's do the third one. Okay, after about 4 coats of primer plus an additional final coat of kind of a off eggshell white, I think we're getting closer to what we see on screen. What do you think of it, Jack?
Wow, it looks very cool.
So what is the next step that we need to do?
Oh, right. We're going to paint in the details like the red triangles, if you look closely.
Yes, and to do that, we're going to be using
masking tape.
Right, so I'm going to go ahead and take some of this masking tape that we have here and mask off the areas that we don't want painted, and I'm going to let you use some red paint, acrylic paints, to go ahead and paint in those triangles. So let's get to it.
And paint that little circle on the hole.
Okay, we'll do that.
Nose.
All right. So like before, I'm using both the figure that my son bought as well as some references I see on screen to go through and try to paint in some of these details. Now, I'm going to have to use some liberties because this is not a screen accurate, depiction by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of the the holes on the mask is all wrong. I think the overall shape is all wrong, but we're wanting it to get close. So this one here, I'm either going to put it down low or put it up. I'm probably going to just try to see if I can get as close as I can to that hole right there. So once again, we're not trying to go completely for screen accuracy, but we're wanting it to get close enough where when you see it, it's recognizable, which shouldn't be too hard. So then after I get done with this, once again, I will let Jack come in with using some acrylic red paint to paint in the triangles, and it might take several coats to get that done. So we'll put on a light coat and dry it and go from there.
You just recorded?
Yeah. So try to stay inside the lines. And once again, we might have to probably put maybe 2 or 3 coats. Okay, the paint is dry, so we're going to go ahead and remove the masking tape slowly and see what we got. Boop. All right. Okay, it looks like there's some area where it got underneath that masking tape. But other than that, I think it's pretty good. Let's go ahead and remove the rest and see what we got. Okay, once again, not too bad. Some paint did get underneath the masking. I guess I didn't push it down too much, but we can go back over with some additional paint to fix those details. What do you think about it, Jack?
Yeah, it looks very awesome.
All right, so now we need to go ahead and
do the strapping part.
Well, first, before we do that, the mask isn't supposed to look new, is it?
No, it's supposed to look old because he stole it from somebody using it for a prank.
Right, so we need to weather it.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and kind of really scratch it up and use some different paints to get the look of dirt and grime and things. So that way it looks like it's old and been used. So let's do it, right?
Right.
All right. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do to weather it is go through with this heavily used bit of sandpaper and kind of first scratch up some of the edges very lightly, as well as some areas that I think from looking on screen that there was some paint chips and areas where the paint is rubbing off. And the scratches will also kind of give a little bit of a grain to the mask once we go through the wash to make it look more filthy. So just now I'm also going through with an X-Acto knife, adding some scratches, more finer detailed scratches, but I'm also going to go ahead and put a little bit of an Easter egg on this. See if y'all can kind of guess what that Easter egg's going to be. Oops, a little bit too much there. Four little claw marks. Yeah. There we go. Can y'all guess what that's supposed to be? So now with this part, I'm going to use some burnt umber paint, acrylic, with some little bit of water. You want it really thin down. And then we go through to age it and just paint it on like that. And what this does is that it sinks into all the little cracks, the nooks and the crannies and things. So just kind of just really try to work it all in like that. Then just start to kind of wipe it off. And just like that, instant dirt gives it a little bit more of an older aged look. Before the weathering, after the weathering, before, after. So we're going to do that through the whole mask. I'm going to let Jack jump in and continue working on that and let him have his try at weathering. Here we are back to my mess of a workbench, but the paint job of the mask is done. It's completely weathered, looks real good, and I put on kind of a gloss coat, or not necessarily gloss, but a lacquer coat on it that would kind of give it a protection. So if it goes underwater, which for some reason my son wants it to go underwater.
Waterproof, and it's so shiny.
Yep, that's what he wanted. So it looks very good. Big difference from where we had it before. As you can see, I went ahead and put some snaps on it because the final thing we need to do is attach the leather straps. So I've already went ahead and got these other parts of these fasteners onto this bit of leather strap where it just snaps right on. So we just go snap it on, snap one onto this side right here.
Yeah.
Now I just need to go ahead and put this piece on here the same way by putting in the snaps. And then we're going to go ahead and make it to where we can attach it to the back. We're going to make it to where it's adjustable. So we're going to use the Velcro strips. So if we want to adjust it between my son's head and my head, we could just strip it off and reattach it further up on the Velcro strips for his smaller head, or vice versa for the bigger head. So let's go ahead, and we're going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to use hot glue to fasten these strips onto the little pieces of leather. So let's go ahead and do that, and then the mask should be completed.
That's just very easy.
Alright. If you're going to use hot glue on leather, be sure to really scrape up the outside of it, because hot glue will not stick to this, or at least not this particular type of leather, as you saw right there. So I'm just going to use some scissors, well, maybe my X-Acto knife, something sharp, and just go through and just really try to rough it up. You know, and I'm going to probably use some sandpaper. I think that might actually do a faster job. But you want to give it a hard surface for that hot glue to bite into. All right, everyone, and here it is, the completed Jason Voorhees hockey mask. It is inspired from the third movie, and not bad from something that just started off as a dollar store Halloween mask. As we can see here when we turn around, is that it is completely adjustable here inside the back, so we can just unvelcro it like that and make it bigger, or we can even make it a little bit tighter if we need to. Just to make it tight fit, but once it's set up, then he can take it off and put it back on just like normal. So it should be adjustable to where it can fit into my head. And said not bad. I mean, overall, I think it might have probably took a total, not including the drying time between the paint jobs, but maybe a total of 5 hours, you would probably say, to do the work. I can't talk today. All right, so what do you think about it, Jack?
It's just awesome. Now I can't seem to look at my face again and again and again.
All right.
For like the glow in the dark mask.
So now you have the Freddy Krueger glove, and to go with it, the Jason Voorhees hockey mask. So let us know what you probably think. Let us know also if you'd like to see us try to tackle any other props. We seem to be more leaning towards horror movie props. Especially when he's involved in it, because he really likes his horror villains.
Even I got other horror villains figures.
I
got Freddy, Pennywise, and Jason.
All right. So let us know. But other than that, this is Jack. I'm Daniel, a.k.a. B-Bell Dad. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.